What's going on, guys? We are so back, baby. The hype train has left the station. History repeats itself. We're back online. So much to talk about today. This is great. The hype is real. And I'm talking about World War III. What's up, BlueTheRobot? How are you doing, man?
Let's go. Oh, good timing. Good timing. Yeah. You guys thought we were talking about a different game instead of a B. No, we're talking about World War III.
What other game are we talking about? What would we be talking?
That's all I know. It's World War III. That's all I care about, man. They got a new battle pass, man. I'm excited.
New battle pass.
So we're so back, baby.
Dude, World War III is so back, dude. It's good. So today's episode,
all 100 players,
dude. The 100 people playing it are so excited. We are going to do an entire 3-hour special on World War III. Buckle up, everybody. Get excited. Yeah. How are we doing, guys? What's up, Buff? How are you, man?
Good. Had a cool weekend. Watched the Royal Rumble on Saturday, so that was cool.
Nice. Blue, how are you, man? Are you hanging in there over there?
I'm good. I was tired just coming out. I've been so busy lately, but good busy. Just driving a lot lately, and I just want to go camping. That's all I want to do, man. Just want to go in the woods, get a campfire going.
I feel it.
Cook some meat on the fire. That's it.
I feel that. Yeah, man. I had a while. I'm just trying to keep over here. We're just trying to keep things afloat with the 2 tiny children. That's where we're at. We're just getting through each day. That's how it is at the Crash household. We're just in like survival mode with everything going on.
I do gotta say, and Buff, you gotta join us next. We finally got Crash to play Reforger.
I did play Reforger.
Nice. I'll probably get into it maybe this week sometime.
And the AI has evolved as well too.
Dude, it was so weird. I lost sleep over that, man.
Dude, you gotta. Okay, so let me explain just a little bit because there's like a little bit context behind this. So there's a mod for Reforger that's an AI radio. So what it does basically makes AI generated music. I don't know if it's like preset or if it does it on the fly. I think it does it on the fly only because yeah, because it's like, so it helps with like copyright reasons. So, you know, if it's AI generated, anyone could be listening to it and streaming it, making videos and not have to worry about it. But it got to the point where it was starting to say our gamer tag or like our player names on the radio. So the first one I heard was like Flow Beatbox, and he was there, and we heard like Flow Beatbox is a joke, and then I guess it said something about Crash, which I didn't hear earlier.
This is me and Arma.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I was decked out.
White HK416 DMR, the freaking.
Yeah, I was the truck driver.
In Fallujah.
Yeah, we were in Fallujah. We did a raid on Osama's place, took him out. Then we got some WMDs out of a mosque. It was pretty sweet. But I was the truck driver, so I dressed up like that. It was pretty sweet. No, but the other thing was, so we were getting ready to go on this op, and I clicked on the radio just for a second, and Blackout was playing with us. And the guy on the radio said, but don't forget to check out Blackout's YouTube channel. Like, it said it on the AI radio.
Wow.
Like, how did it know?
I thought that was a joke. Wait,
no,
it really
it said it. Yes. That's why I'm freaking out, man.
That's pretty crazy.
And then what's even crazier is that then immediately it started playing country music. Because I don't know if it just recognized that Crash was wearing a cowboy hat, or if, you know, just because he's from Kansas, I guess. I don't know. But it started doing that. And then on top of that, we have American Riot was with us, and Redbeard specifically, I know him. They love doing or they love listening to like alt rock and screamo and stuff like that. And it started playing that, like, and it sounded good. That's the craziest part. It's like, it sounds like actually like a song that I would put on Spotify and play myself. Yeah,
that's cool,
dude. It was so creepy. I don't even know how it's like. I don't know. Maybe Finn knows how it works, but I'm freaked out.
You say metal, it's like there's too many genres. I got to go a little bit more specific because it wasn't just like metal music. It was like,
but it sounded like how Riot and Redbeard's like vocals are.
Exactly,
man. It sounded like
exactly. But it was just so crazy. But on top of that, the op was fun. Crash survived. Technically, you know, he might have got knocked out a few times.
But I was a bit of a liability in there.
He made it in one piece. We told him to bring a gas mask, and he didn't bring a gas mask. Instead, he wanted to wear a beard. So,
Screw it.
Priorities.
Same thing.
priorities.
Yeah, I should have just folded the beard up to filter out the gas.
Just-
Would have worked perfect.
There you go.
oh man,
Would have worked
But it
perfect.
was
Next
cool.
time. Next
It was
time.
cool.
I've been playing some ABI too. How's that been for you, Buff? I feel like I want to hear how's ABI been for you? I haven't played with you in a bit.
It's been really good. I just like to run a lot of armory, to be honest. So I had like a really good string of raids the other day. I'm still really having fun with it. Even just boring like armory raids is I just love doing the armory runs and going in and getting loot. So I'm still having a good time with it. But I am like getting pretty ready. I do want some new weapons and things like that. So I'm hoping season 2 is gonna be around the corner.
Yeah, I really need season 2 pretty bad. But I'm going to do a science experiment and report back to the group. I feel like over the last couple weeks, it's just been exponentially harder. We were having great runs. I got up to ace 3, getting kills, getting out, getting ranked points, feeling good. And then this last week or so, it's just been a blender of getting deleted by iron sight HKs with thermals.
Really?
Like people
What map?
just yes.
All of them.
Valley.
All of them. Yeah.
All of them.
There were people running through. We got deleted by a team running thermals with iron sight HKs, 416s, running through valley, just through the bushes, like looking and finding and shooting through the bushes at the heat sigs.
Wow.
And then I got killed yesterday or a couple days ago because I was thinking to myself, okay, so if I want to get my rank points up, I want to get to legend, I have to survive. So I have to try to survive and I won't lose anything. And maybe I can, move around valley kind of tactically and slow and maybe get an opportunistic kill, see somebody before they see me, get a kill so I get some rank points.
Right.
So we were playing over by the radio station. And so I'm at the radio station on the beach where that big tower is. Somebody clear up on the church, clear up in the top middle of the map, shot me in the head with a tier 2 762 and a gear ticket SKS. One shot me to the head through a level 5 from across. Like I didn't even know you could see that from there. And I was just like, that's where I was,
sucks.
man. That was the lowest of the low for me right there. That was a low point, and that's what it's been like just terrible luck. And like the spawns on farm are super rough. Like we try to run some of that to get some PvP. And if you get spawned in the back of grain trade, you have teams holding you on either side.
Right.
So we were like, I was getting so irritated because we'd spawn in and it's like, we have teams on each side of us. Like if we run out of here, we're going to get deleted. So we have to wait and hear shooting. We waited 12 minutes and no one fired a shot. No one moved. And like, all right, well, let's just move out and see. Maybe it didn't spawn someone in front of us. We come over the cemetery. They're still waiting there. Dead.
Jesus.
Like it was just, so brutal. But what my experiment is, I just anecdotally, I'm just kind of like saying, I'm thinking like, about the time I started running tier 5 stuff and tier 5 ammo and everything is about the time it got harder.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always kind of felt like there's a little bit of gear-based matchmaking. So I wonder if I go back to crappy gear, if I'll get some easier lobbies. But man, like the last week or so, it's just been sweaty and campy. And people have like the patience of Mother Teresa in that game, man. They just wait. And then like I've just had like the worst luck. Like, man, I had a bad one yesterday. I let I'm never gonna live this one down.
Yeah.
I was playing with my buddy Hydro. We were coming out of the villa up into the wheat fields, and it was me and him. We were trying to get out, and someone else came along the fence on the bales, and they were both against the wall. So I had a cross. I was out in the field. I was like, I'll hold your bales. I had another guy push me to my right, and I'm like, I'll hold the bales. You hold the cross on me. We'll protect each other. I was like, I got you on the bales. Well, this person over here started shooting, and what did my dumbass do? I got up and looked over, and the guy on the bale swung and killed Hydro, and like that was my job, dude. Like I let him down so bad.
Wow, good squad.
Damn.
Terrible teammate. Horrible. It was bad, but that's what it's been like. So
Yeah, I beat myself up over some dumb plays too a lot, but yeah, I mean, I also just I feel like I'm at a point now where I can easily make a couple million if I really like want to. So I'd like to just run like pretty good stuff, to be honest, and then when I need to like buckle down and run more cheaper gear and get a couple million, I can do that.
Yep. Yeah. So no one ever wants to play with me again. I'm the worst teammate ever. So anyway, guys, as you can see on the screen, we're going to talk a little bit about Arma Reforger, some crazy stuff going on with that. And then the main reason many of you are probably here, we got to talk about Battlefield today. We actually got some gameplay today, as well as some information on the community test environment that it's happening. And then we can go over some ABI events that are happening in February. And if we have time, we got some quick shots of other stuff around to talk about. But man, Battlefield talk today. Battlefield talk the last couple weeks, but we're gonna get into it, man. Kind of crazy. So anyway, before we get into the main stories, guys, if you do have a second and want to support the program for free, there are a number of ways to do that. If you like the stream, that helps a ton. If you share it around, that helps even more. If you let someone know about us who you think might like the program, definitely let them know. If you are one of our cherished podcast listeners on audio platforms, you can hit us with those 5-star reviews. Those help us, and share the show around as well. We really appreciate it. It's been steady growth on the audio side of things. And it's Battlefield season. I mean, it's World War III season, guys. It's time to get hyped, to get some people on the show so we can talk and turn this into a World War III podcast.
Let's go.
Blue's like, I'm leaving. Blue's like, I'm leaving. But anyway, what is up? What's up, Blue, with Arma Reforger? I had a ton of fun playing it, but there's some weird stuff out there.
Yeah, there might have been. It might have been like literally like the day we played it and we had a good time. Like 2 days later, all the servers started going down. Specifically, a lot of the bigger ones, a lot of WCS, a lot of Dark Brew, and so on and so forth. And then of course, we'll start off with the bad news first because I wanted to get into like the mod that was released too. Apparently, there has been a major DDoS attack for the last couple of days for towards Arma Reforger on the server specifically. They went out, Bohemia Interactive went out and made a tweet. Oh my god, I'm dying over here.
Are you okay?
I'm all right. I'm all right. It's the DDoS attacks. They're affecting me.
Man, you're really emotional about this, man. Are you okay?
Oh god,
you hit him in the feet.
But basically, they posted out a tweet and they said, "Dear community, we are aware the technical issues currently affecting our games." It's weird that they say technical issues, but then you have people out there like making videos and making articles saying that there's a DDoS attack. So like, I don't know if they're just trying to like sweep it under the rug or just I get it. They're just trying to keep everything from like blowing up, but they said that they're aware and that they're asking for all of us to be patient, so on and so forth. But from what I can tell and from what other people are saying is that this was a specific attack towards the point where they're even asking for a what's the word, ransom of 0. I think it was 0.8 or 0.08 Bitcoin.
Wow.
So, and if you add an extra zero and it becomes a whole different story. So, don't know why. Apparently, this was what was it? Screenshots from Telegram, which is like the basically where scams happen, but it's also an encrypted service. It was supposed to be it's a Chinese name, but it's Russian hackers behind it. So I don't know what the correlation is. A lot of people are saying it's because some of the community hosted servers are running Ukrainian versus Russian servers, so that might have gotten them upset. But also they're just saying that I'm thinking it's because haha, I got to hack Arma Reforger, so on and so forth. There was even like a Twitter account that was saying specifically it was how do I say it? Ji Zhang Ji, but it's like at Style Squad.
Perfect.
And they were posting on Twitter and like tagging Bohemia Interactive, Arma Reforger, Klemansk, and they were saying like, "Hey, we're gonna attack. We're here. We go. We're gonna make sure all the servers go down," and it did. So it's like they had warning. They had time to maybe do something about it. I don't know what's going on exactly behind the scenes. I'm sure we'll get some more information later, but all we know is that this is specifically a DDoS attack against Armor Forger servers, which sucks because it's like, I mean, this was like at peak on the weekend, pretty much when it happened. So you had like all the servers full, all the queues are full, and then a DDoS attack. So maybe it was a good thing. I think some people needed a break from Armor Forger because I see players that like I was one of them for a bit, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, still waiting in the queue. I'm like, damn, dude, like go to bed. Um, so there's that. But that's pretty much like the biggest issue going on right now with Reforger. It sucks because I mean I understand that these things are gonna happen, but I also hope that Reforger can kind of beef up its back end. I know some of my friends were talking about specifically they should be adding um Cloudflare to it, which would help prevent a lot of these DDoS attacks. So I guess they're surprised why it isn't a thing. It's they don't have Cloudflare Guard specifically. So that's we'll see what happens with Armor Forger if they get their crap together. And if so, for how long? Because I don't think this is gonna be a one-time attack. I think this is gonna be continuous. This is gonna be I hope this gives them enough data to beef up their systems, but
It's so annoying, man.
it sucks because like there's I know a lot of Milsim communities host community hosted events, they had to postpone, and
Jeez.
just wait
Yeah.
until it's done. Even me, like we're testing out, which by the way, the reason why Crash was coming on and to play a Forger of us because he was helping us test a SOCOM inspired mod called Flowcom, which was made by good old
Nice.
Flow Beatbox.
Shout out.
And me, yeah, shout out Flow Beatbox. And this is also when he's busy working on transients. Like this was like a legit side project that kind of blew up a little bit more than we expected. At first, we were just like, hey, let's just make a camera mod that looks like SOCOM. Okay, cool. All right, now how do we make a crosshair mod? So we started asking around, and no one's really made a 3D crosshair for the game. So Flo just said, screw it, I'm making it myself with no help. So he made that, as well as putting a mod that keeps your gun up at the high ready or just at the ready. And then of course including on an already pre-made mod, the infinite stamina makes it a lot easier. Um, we're even in the talks of making a always third person mod because that's not a thing in the game. I get it. This game, people want to be in first person, they want to be immersed, but like Reforger is a sandbox. You
You make what
and
you want.
people are gonna, yeah, you can do whatever you want, and it's crazy just to see that. And on top of that, the server we were testing, which is my private server, you can switch between first and third, and then you would always have just like a 3D crosshair. We might try the option to like turn it on or off, or switch between, or we're gonna make the third person camera option a separate mod so you don't have to install it, so you can switch between first and third. um but yeah,
That's
there's a
cool.
bunch of that. We also we thought about making in the in the future, whenever the servers come back, we want to test out because we want to bring an actual public server, like a 64 player PvE public server, to run around this mod, so make it very SOCOM like. And then on top of that, what was it, we want to start looking at PvP and making that into a game. And I know I checked it out again too. We were talking about it in the server. Fenix, who I don't know if he's in, yeah, there he is right there in the chat. Shout out
Shout out.
Fenix. Checked out his search and destroy game mode. Which Fenix, hit me up in DMs. I got some things I gotta talk to you about. Um it's like perfect. It's like it's a vehicle that's sit in the middle, and you have to basically either kill everybody on the enemy team or blow up the vehicle. So I'm sure eventually you can mod it to where instead of it's a vehicle, it could be like a ammo cache or something like that. But um, it's a start, and it's surprising. Like there's not a lot of team deathmatch game modes. There's not a lot of S&D game modes. There's a lot of like big old, King of the Hill. There are PvP environments, but it'd be nice to get a little bit more close quarters with it. And then on top of that, we'll see. Maybe we could start making some SOCOM inspired maps as well too.
That'd be
So
cool.
if you get SOCOM inspired maps plus SOCOM camera mod or just the SOCOM mod bundle in general, I mean, you could really get like your own version of SOCOM in 2025. I almost said four. And on top of that, once PlayStation players get access to mods too, it'll be like you're playing SOCOM back on PlayStation. So
That's
it'll be
cool.
kind of just like a big, nice turnaround. So we'll see. I mean, shout out to also Tacti, even shouted out Fry, Abel, you guys. Like, I mean, just it was cool to just see the response, and I think we're over 100 downloads so far, a little bit more. But of course, the DDoS attack. So I was
Dang
trying,
it.
we were trying to like test it on the server. We were trying to go back and forth to get the server rights, and then we were going to take all that, put it to the 64 player public server. And I can't even log in without getting shut out, or the server list doesn't even pop up. Your ping is set to like 999 the entire time. So
Wow.
yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Lovely. What's I gonna say? Oh yeah, well that's the thing, man. Like, and this goes off of what chat was saying a bit ago about we can't have nice things. If you think about it, like how impossible, how an insurmountable of a task it'd be for an indie studio to make a multiplayer PvP shooter, because you get through like the net code, the development, and all that stuff is hard enough. And then if you're successful, you're gonna get screwed over by hackers and DDoSers. Like,
Yeah.
it's just impossible for like a truly indie studio to make a PvP shooter, I think, without a ton of funding for that stuff. Because I'm like, that's what I'm saying is like, even if you get it done and it's good and you get to that point, people like just screw it over, man. Like,
Yeah.
with that, it
Yeah.
sucks.
I just it sucks because it's especially like there's a lot of like back end stuff that needs to be like implemented. Like I said it before a while ago, like there's no way for an admin of a server, or even if you're the server owner, if the server is completely full and there's a queue, even as a server owner, you're waiting. So like if there was a hacker on the server just completely obliterating the server, you would have to restart the server and then completely, instead of just going in and banning the person. So
Dang.
there's a couple back end stuff that needs to get implemented first, and of course we have till 2027. But at this point, we have till 2027 until Armor 4 comes out. Of officially is what they say. But I mean, it's already 2025. 2 more years. I hope that they get all this figured out by that time. I wouldn't be surprised in for how big of a scale this game could be and what they're trying to do as like because like once Armor 4 comes out, you're gonna be playing Armor 4 for the next 10 years after the
Yeah.
release, most likely. Just like Armor 3. And it's got to be pretty much on point when it releases. So like if they don't get it to the point by 2027, we could be waiting till 2028. Who knows? To for them to officially release Armor 4, which would suck. So
Yeah. Dang it. All right. Are you guys ready
Yeah.
to talk about this?
World War III. Here we go.
World War III
Let's
is
go.
back, baby. Dang it, man. All right.
Oh, man.
It's kind of surreal, man, to talk about Battlefield again, and like to be like the first day of Battlefield, like official gameplay reveal information is it's wild because that's how I originally started my channel, and now like we've come full circle back to the next round of this circus, whatever it turns
Yeah.
out to be. It's
It's
kind of wild, man.
Same here, actually. If I go and unlist or I list, I guess I could say some of my old private videos back on my channel, back in like 2014, 2013, you'll see some old Battlefield cinematics that I recorded with my friends in our little community servers. So that was like the reason why I also started YouTube, was because of Battlefield back in the day. So
Yep.
it's a lot of meaning behind the title, the genre, the franchise in general. So
Buff, what'd you think when you heard that the Battlefield 3 sounding theme in there at the end?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I was pretty pumped, and it's funny because if you've been listening the past couple of weeks, we had this conversation. I think two weeks ago, I think it was.
did we not
Where
mention that if they put that
Said something like that.
Yeah, like if they put that music in there, it would be like perfect. And then
Like this, yeah, the theme and the timing for the reveal. I think we went back and looked at when Battlefield 3 had their initial reveal trailer, which was, I think I'm looking at it now. I can't see the exact date it was, but it was like early February. It could have been like February 3rd. It was in the first week or two of February, I thought. But yeah, really, really cool. The music definitely made me excited today. Going back to that because we talked about that too. Like Battlefield 2 and 3 had just like the classic good Battlefield theme. So
yeah, I was
It's
actually just real quick too because we were talking about the theme, and I just saw a tweet before the show started. There was an old Battlefield 3 dev that posted a tweet. Um, He's like, as an old Battlefield 3 dev, this has the vibes, and they used our theme. And I was like, yeah, that's just cool to just like see one of the OG devs for Battlefield 3
yeah,
and Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2, just to put that out there. So it was cool. David Goldfarb is his name.
I see that. Yeah,
yeah, he was the
Yeah.
original head of Dice, I think. One of the original heads of Dice. Dave. So yeah, man, they even had Vince on here on the
Yeah,
videos.
seeing Vince pop up and say the right things too.
Dude, but we
Again.
knew they would. We knew they'd say the right things. They showed the
right.
right things because if
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you guys, how I would describe that little snippet of quote unquote, yeah, I guess like Chewy says, it could have been pre-rendered gameplay at the end. It looked like a modern skin of Battlefield 5. Like, because there was some soldiers like kind of leaning when they ran with those animations. It looked like really, really nice,
I thought it
man.
was campaign at first because of just how the soldiers were reacting and how the buildings were reacting to explosives and
Could have
stuff like
been.
that. So, but I think they're trying to make it seem like it's a multiplayer match, and this is how chaotic it could be. But
Yeah, one of the things I noticed, and we joke a lot, we joke a lot, but before you start composing your email to the Scope Podcast Complaint Department at gmail.com, we are maintaining a neutral stance of we need to see and or play it to make a decision. It's just so damn hard to not get excited when you see them do and say the right things. Now they did and said
yeah,
some of the right things. I saw someone tweeting about the 2042 trailer when they did like the rendezvous and we're showing all that stuff.
Hmm.
And somebody 3 years ago was talking about how, man, it looks like with the rendezvous and all those Battlefield moments, they're really going back to their fan base. And they said this about the 2042 trailer.
Yeah,
Blue
yeah.
said this, Buff said this, I've said this. Their trailer team is always the MVP. Like,
They're cooking, and we're
they're
eating it, man.
always
Like,
cooking with
damn it.
trailers and stuff. That being said, I really am having a hard time not getting excited. I'm not excited, but I'm trying. Help me, man. Their trailers are so good. Their games have been not. And that's
Yeah,
what you have to remember here with a grain of large heaping
a
grain of
lot of
salt.
salt. A
A
lot
lot
of
of salt
salt.
on this one. But
Buckets.
it is good, I guess. And with that caveat, we can't talk about the good stuff. The destruction, did you guys notice that? Like it was like,
it
I
looks
did.
like the
Yeah.
destruction that they were trying to showcase back when they were showcasing 2042. Especially the way when they shot the guy shot the RPG at the building, and the whole side of the building like rocked with the
Hmm.
dust and particle, and like sent the shockwave up the building, instead of like back in like Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2 would be only like certain sections would blow up. So it's like, I don't know if this is like, it feels like almost like just a really incredible tech demo that they showcased. But I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Buff? Because
Yeah, the
just like
destruction
we
looked
said it.
good. It really reminded me of. Remember, we saw that before 2042 came out. We saw like the Frostbite engine demo of just a building
yep.
like destructing.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, it's a modern building. It means we're gonna get like a modern and all that." So it kind of reminded me of that with like the way the building kind of looked and how it um was destroyed. You saw a couple. Saw the RPG shot at the end, then you saw another one get hit by like a tank shell or something like that.
Yeah, or even
But
just like the pillar that was getting shot up by just
yeah,
bullets. Like they were walking through
hmm
that little like archway, and then just seeing the bits and pieces come off like dynamically. So
which was very similar. The destruction it really reminded me a lot of Battlefield 3 destruction. I mean, the whole gameplay that we saw looked to me like just a modernized Battlefield 3, which is kind of what I've always wanted. But if you remember the destruction of Battlefield 3, um, you couldn't like bring down every building, and there was a lot of stuff that you wouldn't bring down the frames, but there was heavy destruction of Battlefield 3. So if they do,
yeah,
if they keep it from what it looked like, I mean, it looked similar to that. That's just what I saw. I thought Battlefield 3 had the best destruction. So uh, it, they showed the right stuff at least.
Let's see.
what do you think, Crash?
Yeah, I think the difference between that and the tech demo before 2042 was they kind of showed it in game again at the end, and it looked pretty darn good.
Right.
I thought with it, crumpling down in game because yeah, like you said, in 2042 there were like little squares of that you could like blow out, like
Right.
pre-made
Yeah.
like little destruction areas. So yeah, it's kind of a typical thing that you would expect for it to be like them doing and saying the right things, which is frustrating because that makes you realize that they do know what to say and what to do. Now it's going to come down to if they do it. I have noticed a little bit of a shift. You guys remember the hype for 2042 was just outrageously high. I've
Sure
seen a
was.
lot more reserved comments and stuff of people saying, guys, remember, don't pre-order, or they have to show me something. Or I've even gotten comments on my
Yeah.
video today about like I'm not coming back to the franchise, like they're done. And I hear people say
Yeah.
all the time about how this is the last chance for Battlefield. Battlefield's dead if they don't nail this and stuff. We've been saying that for the last 2 titles, and just look at how many
Yeah.
people are trying to sign up for this playtest.
Yeah.
I've seen queues like 25,000, 200. I think Fry actually just tweeted like 250,000 people in the queue trying to sign up for this thing. So the reputation of this franchise is built on the shoulders of giants. Of
Really is. It
of
really is.
Bad Company, Battlefield 3, 4, I guess 1 is debatable. But like all those have made this franchise into a juggernaut of at least interest. So no matter how many crappy titles they come out with, like many people didn't like 5, very, very many people didn't like 2042. But look at what like 10 seconds of gameplay and a little bit of a CTE announcement does to people. People go nuts for this franchise. So
Yeah.
I think it might be dead for some people. Some people might have that feeling of it's dead if they don't nail this. That's for you. Like, speak for yourself, because I feel like every time they suck, they come back and it just gets so much hype because of the old games. And so many people have a lot of nostalgia for it. And I know people are getting excited
Yeah.
about the concept art, announcing this with the M1A1 tank, all that stuff. And
Which then we saw in gameplay. Thankfully, I saw what you said about the concept art. Is I think you said it in your video. Like, you look at the concept art for 2042, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
So you can't go by the concept art because that's what it's called, concept art. But we did see in the gameplay snippet there, we did see an Abrams going through. So at least it looks like it was pretty accurate. And I saw Big Fry just said it in chat. Like, the trailer department always does amazing, and whether it was scripted gameplay, which I'm sure it was, they always typically have historically done scripted gameplay. But he said they haven't given us a good title for the IP in like 6 to 7 years. I would argue since probably Battlefield 1. You can say 5 maybe. I think a lot of people gameplay wise 5 came around, but it was marked with controversy, right? So I think it is good that they're what we can see from the game now, because remember we just said this last week. We want to see gameplay early, right? And I don't think when did we see gameplay for 2042? It was like 2 months, 3 months before release. So I think they showed the right stuff, and at least they're going in the right direction, right? We don't no specialists. We have actual soldiers with just generic soldiers with the correct looking gear on. We had a nice M4A1 there, just like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. So they're definitely going in the right direction. And I love that urban combat environment, which you know, what looks like it's probably wherever it's supposed to be, somewhere in the Middle East, like that dense urban combat environment. Again, another throwback to what looks like
The concept art too,
well,
specifically.
concept art, and a lot of the maps that we were talking about from Battlefield 2 and 3. It wasn't Gulf of Oman, it was Strike at
Karkand,
Karkand, yeah.
and also the bridge concept art that came out with the M1
Mhm.
Abrams. People were comparing it to Tehran as well too.
Tehran Highway, yeah, another great
Tehran Highway.
great map. That
So
was that's you look at the, and I think Crash mentioned it in his video. The one thing that you could see in the gameplay itself and everything that they were talking about was the maps looked like a real life war zone, right? It wasn't like they were pausing during, like, you know, the landscapers were working around and the soldiers were fighting around the war, and everyone was like, there was landscaping going on and cleaning up everything, right? It's like kind of how the 2042 maps were. Like, it looks like a war torn environment. So you had paper, like debris, everything like that, and so that was good to see. So at least that goes along with the concept art. So I'm not saying let's trust the concept art, but at least the vision from what we have seen from the concept art so far goes along with the gameplay that we saw. I think it's very important that we saw gameplay today. That's a big step in the right direction, because
Yeah.
they do need to win the fans back, and a lot of people, again, they've just been flopping in this franchise. The IP, at its core, was best Battlefield 2 and 3, and that's what we've said consistently on this show, is that they need to get back to that. So looks like they're going in the right direction so far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, everything looks good. And I guess if you're going to try to draw differences and parallels to the 2042 launch at this time, they weren't even talking about it like at all. We might have been getting a tech
yeah,
demo and that one lady saying that it's ahead of schedule or whatever. But this still, you know, like I'm talking about the good side of things today is that, you know, David Serlin said it. We talked about in our podcast last week. He said we believe in showing you stuff, and it was really cool that they showed today. Like they showed some gameplay today. Even though it was
yeah,
tiny, it's really cool because traditionally it's been really late. I remember in the lead up to 2042, everybody was
June boom, June
everybody
boom.
was jonesing for some gameplay, man. And even I mean, I had like a little hack to get views on my videos. If you put like gameplay of any kind in the title or description, like you got search
Hmm.
traffic because people were really wanting to see gameplay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool to see it that early. The other big thing about today was they announced Battlefield Labs. So they announced another thing that I don't think is a big deal. They kind of are consolidating all the studios under one umbrella called Battlefield Studios. That is Motive, Criterion, Ripple Effect, and Dice. It's still the similar thing we've talked about where Dice is working on the multiplayer, Ripple Effect is working on a new weird thing, Motive's working on the campaign, Criterion's doing vehicle stuff. I think that's I think I remember but that's kind of how things are split up. I can't remember if I got Criterion and Ripple mixed up. But anyway, they're all kind of split up working on the different aspects of the game, which there will be a third new unique experience that quote unquote will bring new people to the franchise. So that's what we're kind of assuming to be an extraction mode or a battle royale, one of the two probably.
Hmm.
But the other big thing is essentially that CTE is coming back. They're going to start play testing through the EA Play thing really soon. For those of you listening and those of you who haven't heard, the website you need to know is battlefield.com/labs. So that's where you can go to sign up for the play test. But like as we were talking about, there are a ton of people in the queue trying to get signed up for that. Some of the caveats, some of the frequently asked questions that go along with the test are they are testing on all platforms. So PC, PS5, and the Xbox, the latest gen Xbox, as well as they also said they're taking everybody from different levels of play hours. They're taking veterans and they're taking people who haven't played Battlefield before. But the other thing that not a ton of people are talking about, what was cool, I thought, was they said, and now this is a receipts thing. We need to hold them to this because I feel like a lot of times within the Battlefield community, they start saying, we have to communicate more. We're going to communicate more. And they do like one or two blogs and then they stop. That's just like how I feel. But they said that they're going to do like public info releases on those play tests and talk about what they learned, what they're working on, and how they went. So there's, even if you don't get into the play test, we're supposed to be getting information on how they're going. But if you're looking at like how this went along with the 2042 launch, it appears that it's in a much better place at this time of time. You know, they're play testing it. They're saying it's in pre-alpha, but we actually saw gameplay. I think those pre-alpha, alpha, beta, like all those names don't really mean anything anymore because people interpret them totally different ways nowadays. But
Yeah,
the fact
and
that we're
there's also going to be an NDA with that as well
right,
too.
yep,
Once they
there's going to be an NDA, but I guarantee people are going to leak it, man. People always leak Battlefield. Like I just feel like
Yeah.
They'd be smart if they let it happen too, because I remember we were talking about this the other week too. Battlefield 3, I remember they had their like closed alpha or something. Maybe it was a beta in the summer of 2011 before it were released, and I remember that footage got leaked onto YouTube and caused like a lot of hype. So if they have a good product, right, which we all hope they do, some leaked gameplay is just going to help with the marketing. So they would be smart to almost let that happen to a degree.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
and I
also
mean,
seeing too, behind the scenes, like in the background during like the developers talking and stuff like that. I was trying to see what was happening on like the monitors
Hmm.
behind them, and the one thing I noticed that vehicle wise, there was a Black Hawk helicopter 3D render as well too. So you know, there's most likely going to be Black Hawk helicopters in the multiplayer, which would be cool to see. I don't think I haven't seen one since Bad Company or Bad
Yeah,
Company
Bad
2.
Company 2, I think, was the last one. And then after that, we had Huey's for transport shoppers. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, Black Hawk would be sick. I miss flying the Black Hawk. That's my thing in Battlefield. I've always been an attack chopper pilot was always my thing. So, to have like Black Hawks, give us a good variety of like all those vehicles, like yep, Apache, Vipers, and give it a good variety of transport choppers like Blackhawks. I always thought it would be really cool in a Battlefield game to have a wow, I'm blanking on it. What's the big transport dual rotor front and back?
The Chinook.
The Chinook. Yeah, I always thought it'd be really cool to have like a Chinook on larger maps, right? And just load up like 20
Yeah.
people in a Chinook and
Oh,
transport all the way to like maybe a way out of the fob, like, or the base over to like the
I
first flag
did
would be
see
fun.
too. There was some people talking about it in some Twitter comments. I was trying to find it, but I can't. I lost it. About that Battlefield Portal will be coming back as well too. Um, don't know how true that is, and if they do, they need to do it right.
I
Um,
saw.
yeah,
Is
I have
that?
it pulled up.
Oh, perfect.
you
Okay.
got it pulled up. Oh, sweet. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Insider Gaming, Tom Henderson, very reliable source when it comes to Battlefield. He posted an article on Insider Gaming today, a little bit ago, actually, before we went live. The Battlefield Portal, which was first introduced in 2042, will be returning to the next title. Dice has confirmed. I guess it came from
There it is.
Flackfire's video.
Okay, I
So
just saw it through like a comment on a tweet. So
Sam, what did they
see that
confirm again? They confirmed that
Portal. The
there will
Portal
be
mode's
Portal.
coming back.
yeah, so bring back old like Battlefield 2 maps, Bad Company maps, so on and so forth, which
Okay.
is okay, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. I'm not super excited because we saw how that turned out in 2042.
Yeah. I think I think it's a little concerning, but it's really about how they execute it. Because when Portal was announced, right, we thought it was the best thing since like sliced bread, right? So
Well, it could
they
have
just
been.
did a terrible job
Well,
with it,
Yeah.
it
It
unfortunately.
was
got
also
no new
like it
content.
helped with but
Yeah.
it helped with like when I didn't feel like playing 2042 on the horrendous maps, I would go play older Battlefield
Yeah.
maps and
That's what
play with
yeah,
the
exactly.
updated engine, pretty much.
I think
So
like if they do it, especially to keep hosting games, but I would like to see like rent a server integrated into the portal, and they need to have a good base game before they start doing stuff with Portal, right? Because I don't want it to be like a
yeah,
2042 where you're just like, I'd rather just play the Portal over the
That
over the
never
yeah, I
got
don't
game.
want it to be a
updated.
substitute for
Yeah,
the lack of content. And yeah, it never got updated. They had a couple
Yeah.
of things that came over from Portal and then immediately got nerfed as well too.
and
They
that
do
was
need also community hosted and rented servers
They do.
built into the game. I don't think we. I
Did they
mean,
have them in Portal? And
if
by the end, they've added them eventually to Portal where you could build your own server and stuff. I thought.
at that
I
point,
don't
at
I
that,
don't
well,
remember.
they
But
had the
no one
whole
was
like,
playing
you
them.
know, they had the share code idea, which was like on paper
But your
was a
server
cool
would
idea.
disappear unless you kept it
Exactly.
going. Like so, you
Yeah,
need to
unless you had to stay in the game.
yeah, they need to bring back the rent a server because I rented servers in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4.
Hmm.
I had
Hmm.
like 3 or 4 servers on both those games, and they were populated full 24/7. And managing them, it was fun, and that's especially from a like a content creator perspective, but not even that. I mean, obviously, as content creators, it'd be awesome to have those and have a priority for like um our community members and have community nights and stuff like that. But just from a marketing perspective, when you have a good game with good maps, and just to have the good maps that you want on rotation, like that people want to play, it's helps market the game because I think the servers in 2042, like a lot of the maps sucked and just wasn't the same. So they need to go back to that. I
The
would spend the money for servers again.
The other thing that what happened was also Portal just turned into another game mode. I feel like I thought it was built on the premise that it was going to be like Reforger, and we can see that games with user generated content can do well. People get in there and start making cool stuff, and that could have worked at Portal. One, they didn't add. They added hardly any new content. They added a couple new things here or there, but no new maps or anything. The entire cycle of the whole thing. The other thing that incredibly crippled that mode or that thing was like every time they did like a season update or even like a balancing update or whatever, it would completely break any modded servers or anything that people built. So
Yeah.
I actually found
Yeah.
like a really cool search and destroy type mode back then in Portal, and I could just enter the code and play it. And then they had an update, and that person didn't update the code in their mode, so we couldn't play it anymore. And I couldn't find out who made it. I couldn't find anything about it. It was just done.
Yeah.
So if you actually built a mode, you had to rebuild it every time there was an update. Who's going to do that?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so they just totally crippled themselves with some stuff like that I hope they learn from. You guys are talking about persistent servers. The other thing that I want to scream at Vince Zampella, I want to give him a big hug and I want to whisper in his ear, server browser. We need a server browser, dude. Like, and that can go such a long ways, because even you guys even see like around Delta Force and that kind of stuff, like how outspoken the community is against engagement optimized matchmaking and skill-based matchmaking, all that stuff. You see like how tired of people are that. If you have a server browser, it's the
Problem
actual
solved.
just
It's the
unequivocal answer to
Yeah.
it. We don't have it
Yeah.
because you can pick your server. So it's proven
Yeah,
there is no
exactly.
skill-based matchmaking.
And Big Fry just said it too. Give me battle log, but inside the game. I loved battle
Yeah.
log.
I got a
wish-
log.
I don't want the separate browser. I gotta pull up alongside or on my
Yeah.
phone, and
Yeah.
especially and also give us a platoon
Yeah,
maker
you-
as well
like
too, and an
the
emblem
clan
maker would be nice
stuff.
as well too.
Yeah,
I don't
all
think the
those stuff
emblem
that I
will
have.
come back. I think because of what I saw specifically with Black Ops, just the way they thought it was too
Right,
abrasive.
right.
But at least give us platoons, give us a battle log. I want to track my stats. I want to rub
Mhm.
it in my face with my 1.2 KD.
That's why
just-
Battlelog was so cool. You could see so much in-depth statistics with like your weapons, your vehicles.
It was a mobile app too,
everything.
right? You could
Yeah.
you
So
could
I
sit
would
on the
play.
toilet and
Yeah, you could. I
Yeah.
would play like I'd be playing on PlayStation, obviously, and I would on my computer screen right there, I would have Battlelog up, and it would track like live stuff in game too. But it was also just cool
wins,
to be able to
losses, all that stuff.
yeah, it'd be cool just to check between matches, and you unlock stuff through via Battlelog, like crates that you would open. So yeah, put that. I thought it was ahead of its time. Put that in the game, and
but
we're
and-
good to
Yeah.
go.
the other thing that I want to make really, really important too, that's almost as important as server browser, is a team balancer. And the reason developers do like the skill-based matchmaking and stuff, and they try to optimize it to keep people playing, like they try to keep people in the game. I feel like, at least for me, anecdotally, I will stay in the games a long time if I can hop into a game that I want. I know I'm getting the lowest ping. I can search on the server browser lowest ping, and then it's very important to have a team balancer within that to keep it close, like really good players on, and then kind of even it out skill wise. And then
Yeah.
you have close matches. and you can just get into a server. You can play against the same people in between matches. It shuffles it around to kind of get the teams fairly balanced, and then you play another one. And I'm telling you, if you keep the matches close like that, that keeps people playing. Like you're having fun matches, you're having close matches, and you know that you're getting the best connection possible. And you know you're when you know how server browsers worked as well. They had like the map list that they went through, so you knew like where you got in on the maps, like what maps you're going to play next. You weren't going to have, you know, where you hop into a game and matchmaking, you play orbital, and then you get out because like that one sucked, you got deleted, and you hop in another one and it's orbital again, or you get kicked to another one and you play like the same 3 maps in a row. That's the other thing that was nice about server browser. And I would argue that people will stay longer if you have a server browser with a team balancer, because in Battlefield 5 there was a server browser but they didn't have a team balancer, so you just get these super off kilter
and
matches.
that's what was best with the rent a server, because as a mod you could do stuff if you needed to right there in the game on the fly. And obviously again, you have the best rotation of maps, you can customize the tickets. Like I had a couple different servers, but one of them was like all out warfare, and it was like 1,000% tickets or something on a couple of the core best maps in Battlefield 3. And those matches would be conquest matches, would be like typically an hour long to 2 hours long. And it was always full. People love that stuff. So we got to see that again. But I don't know why they got away from, over the past couple of titles, they just got away from what made Battlefield Battlefield.
They try to
So
copy different
other
formulas from
games,
different games. Yeah.
because they never
The one
outsold Call of Duty, but they always had the
the
better product, I felt. And then they're like,
the
oh,
one
well, we
thing
should
I'm
chase
still
sales.
the one thing I'm still worried about, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, some people were being sent some of the surveys that have made it past the queue. I don't know if you guys have seen that
No,
on X.
not
So,
yet.
and I'm gonna give it to the production team. This is from YouTuber or content creator, and I guess YouTuber Endymion. I don't know how to say his name. Endymion. Um, and he was apparently sent a survey by someone in the playtest, and it's just
Yeah, I went through
I don't know
this.
how to feel about it. Yeah, of they want to know what your gender identity is
Yeah.
and what describes, I mean, race or ethnic identity. I've seen that in many other surveys, but I just find it kind of awkward of like, why do you want to know who I sleep with?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know how that affects the
I
gameplay.
also think
yeah,
it's
it's like this is a video game, a
yeah.
play test.
Like,
Why?
are they trying to figure out like what their player base is? Because I can tell them right now
Yeah,
it's 99.999% white males, or just males, not even white, like males is what it is. I don't know if they're trying to like get their demographics to
yeah.
like hone in the game or
Yeah,
something,
it's
but
definitely a
I
DEI situation, but it's fucking stupid. Like,
I
I'm
is it
saw
sorry, like
specific for
that's
Battlefield though, or is
yeah,
it
dude.
an
This is
EA
yeah,
fucking.
it's on
This is
the
service?
horrible, dude.
yeah, it's
Okay,
on the thing to sign up for the playtest. They ask you these
okay,
questions. You don't have to answer them, but if you do, it asks you. And for the podcast listeners, if you sign up, you go to battlefield.com labs and you get into this, it'll ask you a
Yeah.
series of questions.
And
And one of
after
them, if
waiting
you want
in
to
the queue,
answer, is your gender identity, and it's the woman, man, non-binary, gender queer, gender fluid, prefer not to say, and prefer to self-describe. And I saw somebody put in self-describe and they said I identify as an HKG3 battle rifle or something like
dude,
that.
I'm putting up.
And
Yeah,
and
an
they're like,
Apache attack helicopter.
Apache. Yep.
and they're like, you think I'll get in if I describe myself as a attack
HK
helicopter? Like,
416.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Oh
pretty
my
An
funny.
AC
gosh. It's
130
like
Spectre gunship.
it's weird because they go and they say all this cool things about Battlefield, taking it back to its roots, and then they do stuff like that. But it's from a company point of view, I think it's absolutely useless. It is optional, but I hope it's like, okay, even if it doesn't affect you getting into the game or the playtest itself, we don't know that for sure. So it's like, if I don't get into the playtest because I answered I'm white and I'm straight and I don't get in, is that the reason why, or is it because you just didn't have enough spots? We'll never know because of this DEI BS. So it's like, you know,
Yeah,
it just doesn't
that's
work for Battlefield again. So I don't think it needs to be in the survey. I think I just want to know, hey, what past Battlefield games have you played? What's what type of equipment are you on, and what type of player are you, or something like that. I don't know, something along those lines. So it's whatever.
Yeah, like how many Battlefields have you played? What was your first Battlefield? How many hours? Because I used to have everything linked through Battle Log. So I don't
Oh,
know
yeah,
how that's
Battle
gonna
Log, you can
work
see like all your old
now.
you know,
Yeah, and you
old
would be
games you
linked
played.
like a veteran, so it would show then because I linked my ID through those games to the website, so it showed I played, every game that you had played. So I don't know how they're going to. I don't know how they're going to do like to know that unless you're saying it. That's why I liked
Mhm.
Battlelog and some of their older stuff that they had because it linked all that.
Wonder if there'll be a scoreboard.
Yeah, that actually
And
shows deaths as well
You guys
too.
ever think of that? Yeah.
yeah,
I
No,
know.
something
I
something
forgot
interesting.
about that wasn't a thing because they wanted to keep people's what they wanted to make sure people didn't get upset.
I just did some I did some reconnaissance work just now, guys, down the Easter egg rabbit hole.
yeah.
There's the lat longs right here at the start of the Battlefield video. If you go to those, it's Toronto. It's Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
what you
know,
can see like in the little orange thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what that
Yeah, there's
is?
a
it
lat
would be
long.
cool if we got
Are we
some.
annexing Canada in Battlefield 6? Let's go.
Dude, it could be the Canada American War.
It would be really cool to get combat
Sorry, Fry.
in North America to have combat like if this campaign for the story goes along, you look at like modern potential unfoldings of a war type situation, right? So if we had combat in North America, Canada, and the United States, I've always thought that would be a really cool idea, like downtown,
It
like
might bleed
New
over.
York
It'd be cool
City
to
or something.
see like what was it, like Caspian border looked like an actual like checkpoint.
Right,
It'd be cool to be like if it was that way, it'd be like the Canada flag on one side, American
right,
flag on the other side.
yeah, yeah.
It'd
That'd
be
be pretty
interesting to
neat.
see.
That'd be really
Uh,
cool.
I do like I love just alternate history as well too. But this definitely looks more like classic Battlefield, so most likely it'll be US versus Russia or NATO versus whoever
Yeah,
the enemy is at that point.
they
That's another
should.
thing too. It's like I wonder who the enemy factions are going to be.
Well, what there was a
Clearly, we see
rumor.
American as well
There
too.
was a
So
rumor about like NATO versus PMCs a while back, right? So,
yeah,
but I would like to see. I'd like to see the same factions we always see, like United States, Russia, China, um, the
the
EU. Like
Chinese maps of Battlefield 4 were pretty dope actually. Like
they
that was
were,
actually a
yeah.
really good. What was it? There was the Dragon, right? I forgot which one that was
The
with like
DLC,
the
Dragon Rising, I think was the
Dragon
DLC.
Rising.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
yep.
Oh man, that was a good one. But the
And they had,
bridges you can blow up and stuff,
yeah, dude, they
and then
had
you can
great
fix the
maps.
bridges too.
Yep, they had great
Ugh,
maps. I want to see it. So it'd be cool to see the main factions like throw the. I think what was it? Battlefield 2 had like the UK or the EU faction in there. Throw in some main country
mhm.
factions, and then it'd be cool to have like some PMC factions in there. Also, would be pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah,
Too
I
if
could see
they.
that being a thing. I
But
know if
that's your
if they
content right there,
mm,
man. More countries that That's like okay. So we need more content. This is what we talked about last week. Instead of let's do crazy
operators or
Teletubby stuff. Okay,
skins.
we're adding a new country faction, so the DLC will be or the battle pass will be focused around those soldiers, those weapons, those vehicles,
Yeah,
those maps. That's what makes sense. And then you have like a PMC
dude,
battle pass.
and
There's
that's
so much
another
content in a modern game like this.
yeah, that's another thing I kept seeing come up too in some of the comments of just like, great, here we go again. Now I get to argue about realism versus immersion. Because people were already arguing and saying that Battlefield doesn't need to be realistic. And it's like we never said we
Yeah,
wanted Battlefield to be realistic. We wanted it to be grounded
immersive. Yeah,
and
it's a
immersive
good
within its own atmosphere specifically.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
So
a difference
it's
between
an arcade game. It's what we
yeah.
all know. It's an arcadey game. You
Don't
know.
say that in a Call of Duty post or something, because you'll get told to go play Arma or Tarkov. But yeah,
It
Yeah,
is
yeah. Go
true.
play squad. Why are you playing Battlefield? Go play
yeah,
squad. It's like, oh god,
It
I don't
needs
want to play
to look
squad.
it
we
needs to
need
look
rainbow
realistic, but
skins.
not it needs to
rainbow
look
skins.
realistic, but not play realistic.
Yeah, it needs
Yeah.
to be immersive, and that's the most fun I ever had in Battlefield is when I was immersed. So like that, when I'm immersed in a game,
Yeah.
I'll put hundreds and
Yeah.
thousands
You
of
were
hours into it.
Soldier One in a made up war, but the gameplay itself, the mechanics were very arcadey because
Mhm.
you had something as crazy as C4 jeeps and shooting
Yeah,
rockets out of a jet and
yeah.
getting back into the same jet. So
No,
it's like
in a helicopter with your RPG or your Gustav, like, come on.
we're fixing the helicopter at the same time. It's just like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
we all
re
know it's
with
arcadey.
a little bird, you'd get a guy on the wing that
On
would
the
I think
wing,
most
fire
of
just
us
while
know
you're
that, but
flying.
it's just again like the people that hate it are the louder ones, but the people who don't give a fuck don't even say
Yeah,
anything
it's
on Twitter anyways.
the
So
vocal minority, right? But hopefully
yeah,
that's like
yeah,
a sign of hopefully that's a sign of and I just want to touch on Anthony C put a comment there in chat. I don't want to see US classes running with AK-12s. So I agree
that
with
too,
that.
that too.
Like Battlefield 3 I think did it right where the faction you played, you had to use those faction-based weapons. So if you're US, you had to use US weapon systems. But
Hmm.
once you hit
Hmm.
next rank, then you could choose like any gun you wanted, I think, or at least
It
from
was
the
like
other
once you hit like
faction.
Colonel something, yeah, you
Yeah,
could be a Russian running off an M4, So it's like,
which I'm okay with that.
well, because it's like
um,
if you see a Russian that killed you with an M4, clearly that guy put in a lot of hours and has ranked up
right,
quite a
yeah,
bit, kind of thing. So it was like this is
yeah,
like something to show off.
and that's what created Battlefield moments. Everything we just described, right, that everything we just talked about added to and created those Battlefield moments. And I think with 2042, where they went wrong was trying to force those Battlefield moments and not letting them happen generically. And I think Crash or Blue,
Yeah.
you guys talked about this previously in one of your
Yeah,
videos.
Crash had that last. I think
Yeah.
last time too.
So like when they weren't trying to create Battlefield moments and just made a good immersive Battlefield game, that's when you had all these awesome
Yeah,
Battlefield
give us
moments.
the tools to just make it on our own.
Yeah.
But then also, I'm also curious too if you guys, what do you guys agree with more? Because like we don't know if it's gonna be 4-player squads or 5-player squads, and if
I always
so,
wh-
are they
what
gonna be even more? So
what was Battlefield 3 was 4
Battlefield 3 was
or
4, I
5,
believe. Yeah,
I can't remember. And then
I'm trying
Battlefield
to remember. I'm trying
4
to remember which one it was. If it was 3, if Battlefield 3 was 4 and Battlefield 4 was 5, or
Four
Battlefield
was
3 was
5.
5.
it 4 was
Battlefield 4 was
5-player
5-player
squads?
squads. Yeah,
Okay.
because
I'm
I remember
almost
seeing, I
certain.
remember like seeing the
One of
trailer
those
for
2.
Battlefield 4, and I think I remember seeing like the 5 people there. So I was like, oh my god, that's amazing! You added one more, and it
Yeah.
was just like more people, more of my friends can join me together, kind of thing. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that was something that I think they never did with Battlefield 2042, right? Is like you were supposed to have like be able to communicate between different squads or stuff, and that never happened, or make the platoons that they talked about. I don't think
yeah,
that
yeah.
ever
Someone
happened.
mentioned it in chat too. It's like in-game voice would be nice as well too. They do. Yeah, that's another thing too. They're not doing 128 player servers anymore. They're going back down to 64.
Thank God.
So,
Which
that's
if they had
great.
done it
I
right, it
enjoy
might have
that.
been good. Yeah, I prefer
Yeah,
64.
if they did it right, but they try to make the maps too big and it was too empty. But
64, I think, and they talked about this previously, is the team at Battlefield 3, I think it was, tested 128, and they found like the game played the best with 64 is when the games played the best. So,
yeah,
and unfortunately back then, Battlefield 3, you had consoles were held back, so it was only 12v12. So those were 32, so it cut that in half. So on consoles where I played Battlefield 3, we got a different experience than PC. So
that's true. Forgot about
you know,
that.
I,
Yeah,
I I missed out on a lot of that stuff, and I still thought Battlefield 3 on console was the best Battlefield game I've ever played. So
yeah, because they made the map so like at certain points it was like claustrophobic that it made
mhm,
those that one squad facing another squad. It felt like it was you were in the crazy
yeah,
firefight. So we'll see.
mhm.
Yes, we need. Yeah, server browser. I don't think the weapon faction lock matters to me. Don't hate me. You can hate me, but don't. You shouldn't. You can, but you shouldn't. I don't, because I just default back to the Battlefield 5. It's you can use whatever. So it is weird, you have like the Japanese running around with the grease guns and like things like that. But
Yeah.
That doesn't
I
that
mean,
doesn't
I
do
guess
me too much.
yeah. If it doesn't bother you too much, I don't think. I mean, even me, it wouldn't bother me too much. But it would be a nice addition just to see era and faction specific weapons.
And I
Um,
think that's why you need rent a server
yeah.
too, because if they go a different direction, then the rent a server is
That
you
too,
can
exactly. Yeah,
you
you do
yeah
your own rules.
you
Yeah.
can ban different weapons, this and that, and if they go
No
with goofy,
mortars.
yeah, right. If they go with goofy skins, there should be a filter in the server to get rid of those. And I don't think we talked about it last week, right? I don't think that goofy skins don't belong in Battlefield. That's a Call of Duty thing. If you're doing
Yeah,
a modern war game, which is what they're doing, just what I said earlier, there's endless content. Add a new faction, and all the content for the battle pass be
yeah.
revolve around that faction.
Or
There's no reason to
do a
add
different
crazy stuff.
camo on the weapons. You can do that
Yeah,
as well too. I've seen, yeah, there was
different
definitely
soldier
you know,
skins, that
blue
are immersive.
digital. There was
Yeah,
forest. I mean, I remember seeing just how many
Battlefield 4 had a
camos
bunch
Battlefield
of
4. Oh
skins.
my
Yeah,
gosh, dude, so many,
and
so
Warfighter,
many,
Medal of
too
Honor
many.
Warfighter had
I didn't
great
lock
weapon
all them.
skins too. Medal of Honor
Yeah,
Warfighter had great weapon skins, and I think they had the best weapon customization, which is what Call of Duty took. Basically repurposed that. So I think there's so many things that hope. I'm hoping they do right this time, because I mean, like you said in the beginning, Crash, it kind of is. If they don't get it right, what is it? It doesn't matter. They're going to get sales, this and that, but I think it will really damage the IP if they drop another, if they don't
Yeah,
deliver on another Battlefield
and
game.
I mean, Big Fred made a good point in chat. If it does miss, I mean, the corporate folks will axe it, for a while at
Which
least.
is what they did. Yeah, he mentioned that's what they did with Warfighter too, but with Medal of Honor series,
I
because
guess
just
that's true. And 2042, because I always listen to the earnings calls like while I'm working around the house or doing something else in case they say something cool. But they do
mhm.
occasionally say a little bit about like what's coming and stuff. And I mean, like right after Battlefield 2042 launched, they quit talking about it. They quit talking about it as a live
I
service
remember
game.
that.
They didn't
Yeah,
show it on any of the slides, so it missed their sales expectations and their live service generation of content by a fair amount, because they
yeah,
quit talking about it like right away. And
and yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say EA got their butt saved by Apex Legends going nuts with
They
skins
did.
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever happened, whatever happened with 2042, and whatever happened with Battlefield 5, I think we talked about Battlefield 5 probably turned in gameplay wise like a really good game down the road, but
towards the end. Yeah,
yeah, they've had two like pretty big flops. I think with 2042, one of the reasons they stopped talking about it was it missed their sales expectations, but also like the player retention was completely like gone, which we saw with the Steam charts, right? So
hmm hmm
um
yeah.
I'm really
Well,
hopeful. I really really want this to be a good game, because I think all the
same,
games
dude.
we play, like to this day, I just want a good I just
I
want a
think,
good
yeah.
Battlefield game. That's all I want to do is
Every
play a
game I
good
play now
Battlefield.
is just me trying to reach out and like get a taste of what Battlefield used to be.
Exactly.
Even Reforger as
Exactly.
well too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat the golden days of like Battlefield 3 and 4 and even 2, Battlefield 2. So if we talked about it over the last couple of weeks and years, like that's the
Yeah.
mix right there. 2, 3, and
My
4,
phone.
throw it together, do movement from 5 if we need
My
if
phone
that's
was
what
listening
was
to
good.
me. I think he was like,
Like,
"Excuse me, what do you want to play?"
what Battlefield do you want?
Battlefield what?
Yeah,
I think I'm
so
gonna stream Battlefield 5 tonight. It
there you
feels
go.
I'm just feeling it, feeling it, getting excited. Now look what you did. Look what
Hey,
you did
I
to me.
mean, you made good points though before Crash. When you talked about, because I didn't play Battlefield 5 outside of the beta, but like the movement, leaning and that kind of stuff, like that's the move. That's a more modern movement that the game should have for sure.
It feels crispy.
And then
Uh,
you combine 2, 3, and 4, everything else there, and do the 5 movement. And I think you're and kind of like the one thing I really liked, one of the many things I liked about Battlefield 1 also was, you look at Battlefield 1 we talked about last week, that was an immersive, like you felt like they had some dynamic weather, did it not, with some rain and stuff? Like you felt they did a good job of immersing you on certain maps with that too. So I don't think Battlefield 5, from the gameplay I saw, it didn't ever really look super immersive to me. So they got to get back to that.
yeah, It just was a super it's a super crispy version of Frostbite, man. The
And it
colors are
looks better.
gorgeous, the
It
textures are
looks
amazing.
better, right? We talked
Yeah.
about this the other week too. Like they got the games got worse looking over time. Like Battlefield, I don't think Battlefield 5 looked as good as 1, but that could be like a lighting environment thing. But Battlefield 2042, I didn't graphically, I thought it just looked too cartoony, right? So
Yeah, they must have
Yeah.
spent something was whack with that. But
well, we heard all the development issues. They had to like rebuild everything, and
yeah.
everyone was having a lot of trouble with the dice or the Frostbite engine, and it just
Yep.
sounds like it was they were just like, we gotta get something out. Just do it.
I hope they learn from it.
Let's hope so.
Alrighty. Yep.
We'll wait and see.
So in other news, I guess depending on when you listen, at the time of recording this, tomorrow is EA earnings call. So I'll probably listen to it and make a video if anything cool comes out about Battlefield. It's kind of interesting that they announced this today and then tomorrow's the earnings call. So
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
That should be good.
Give it a listen. But anyway,
yeah, we'll be covering this a lot over. I mean, we got news this early, so I think we'll be obviously covering this from now
yep.
till launch. I'm sure we'll have hopefully some weekly updates, especially when we start seeing some leaked footage, I'm sure, of the gameplay. But I think, like we said before,
NDA number plastered all over
yeah,
it.
right. I think what we said before, though, don't pre-order yet. They still need to. They showed us the right things today, but there's still a lot of stuff they need to make up for over the
Please
years.
don't pre-order, guys. Seriously,
So we'll keep you guys up to date with everything here.
Yep, and that's all to say that it's definitely a positive thing that we're at this stage already.
Right.
You know, it's February. There's presumably 8 or 9 months before the game comes out, and it's going to public testing. So definitely promising there, and I hope they learn some lessons.
I think they listened to the show because
Shout out Vince. I wonder what Vince is doing right now.
Because we've talked about all of this over the past couple of weeks, haven't we? And even the past couple of years, I think, when we talk about Battlefield, like what did we say the past couple of weeks back? Over the past couple of months, when Battlefield comes up, we were like, we need to see stuff early. February would be a great, all this stuff. So maybe they're secretly listening to us after all.
It's no secret. What's up, Vince?
Wait, I want my test code, please. Get me in there.
Thank you.
Bring me in, coach.
So, all right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. The next thing I want to talk about before we move on, I think the rest of these stories today will be fairly quick. I just wanted to kind of gloss over, since Buff and I have been playing the heck out of Arena Breakout Infinite. There are some February events. I am like, where the hell is season 2? Please. But we do have. What's interesting here is this says 2/17. I wonder if someone's going to have on February 17th. There's a Battlefield teaser today, so I'm like looking at all these numbers, like in the backgrounds of all these things, and I'm stuck in like the Easter egg mode. I need to relax. I'm sorry. What's coming? February event calendar for Arena Breakout Infinite was out today. There's going to be airdrops with two new medical supplies starting February 6th. So limited edition airdrops are going to be popping in. An all new food item, the pretzels essentially, is coming to the dark zone. So I'm not sure if there's going to be an event like there was for the espresso where you'll be able to collect those on the map and turn them in for stuff. Hard to say, or if they're just adding that. It'd be weird that if they just were adding pretzels to the game and that's an event. I don't know. That seems, yeah. Woohoo. Trading post assault. There's a limited time mode centered around the Grain Trade Center, everybody's favorite place to spawn in that game. It's wonderful. So I think this is on mobile. I think there's like it's like a smaller map. It's just a subsection of the Grain Trade Center. You fight around that, and then they're still doing the weekly event where you can on the weekends you can roll for high tier items. But it's something like it's content. It's still cooking, but like
I'm ready for the new season though, for sure,
dude. It's like slower than every other game, man. It's like. It's slower than Delta Force. It's slower than like.
I was talking about this when I was playing the other day, just like Justin and I were in, and I have some like community members that'll pop into my voice chat channel while we're playing once in a while, and a couple of guys like play this pretty heavily on the mobile, and we've talked about it here before. Like we're seeing a lot of those guns and maps and stuff on mobile make their way to the PC version. They're obviously like a year plus behind release wise. So I think that's why we saw like 9 guns season 1, right? And new maps. So there's a lot there that should be coming. It is just strange that it's taking so long because the content's there on the mobile side. Now, obviously, it's not like a 1-to-1 bring it into the PC version. I'm sure they have to redo it all in the engine and all this and that. But you get an idea of what kind of content we're going to be seeing, which is why I think I really want to see season 2 because there's like G36, MCX Virtus, M249 Saw, more weapons, more maps. I think keep this game going fresh. But I will say though, the season 1, I think we need to remember season 1 was a huge update. The dynamic weather really, really took that game to the next level for me personally. So I would like a timeline on season 2 though, because I'm getting anxious.
Yep. My dogs are angry about it too. They really want to see it.
More content.
Yeah.
More content now.
Just give me my Saw and my MCX, please, and I'll just be super happy. That's all I want.
I want that Northridge map.
Yeah, that map's gonna be that's gonna be so fun. I mean, I still haven't even really mastered TV yet, like at all. I don't play it as much as I should, but I think I have a good feel on some of the maps. But I still got to get in there and master some of the other maps. So having a new map to get in, it's gonna make it even more fun to just dive in and learn all these maps like the back of my hand.
Yep, the Steam launch would be good too, and fix the microtransactions. Yeah.
Let's hope.
All righty, are you ready?
So quick shots. I wish I had like a toy revolver because they can't show actual firearms. That might even get us banned. Just a little plastic Nerf revolver.
That would
in trouble.
You know how many people that could potentially be injured with that?
The Nerf dart.
Guns.
Yeah. Think about what you're doing, Blue. The message you're sending.
Sorry,
we can talk about video games where you shoot people all day, but if you have a toy pistol, sorry. Just bringing this full circle. We have to talk about World War III, man. Just how funny it is. I'm so sorry, Blue. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Because I keep seeing like Tacti mention it, and I'm like, Tacti,
I know,
please,
man. He's
stop.
He's sounding the alarms that everybody needs to be playing this, man. Tacti's on the World War III train.
Look, and here's the thing too. I keep when I see it, and right underneath, I'll see the what's the word? The comments, and it's just a picture of the same fetching data screen error that pops up every time.
I can't play it.
Like, yeah, they haven't fixed the game, guys. I'm sorry. They'll probably never fix the game. And by the time they maybe fix the game, Battlefield 6 or whatever the heck this one is, it Battlefield 6? Do we know what the name of this is?
No, we don't have a title yet. If
right?
They're smart, just game. Battlefield. But yeah, they missed their window. I think they missed their window. But looking at the trailer, like it still looks so cool. But they just no one's playing it, and the servers.
I had the Steam charts up right now, and we're currently sitting at 123 players right now, and 307 at an all-time 24-hour peak.
They also didn't market this at all.
24-hour peak.
They released last week.
They just dropped it. You know what's funny? I saw it because so I forgot that I have them followed on Facebook. So I logged this my Facebook account, and just a bunch of notifications came up because I haven't logged on forever, and I forgot that World War III is on there, and I saw it there first before I even saw it on Twitter or YouTube.
Wow.
So it's like you posted on Facebook before where no one's probably, I don't think, I mean, that's funny. It's funny. It's got
Facebook
comments
gaming
underneath, dude. Like it's crazy for a voice crack, but still it's just, that's how excited. Yeah, it's annoying, dude. Cause it's just like, first of all, I don't know anyone that knows what wishlist games is. People still think it's the Farm 51. And now looking at Battlefield 6 or the next Battlefield title, the way their game looks and runs, like, I mean, the reason why I was playing World War III back in the day, even I was talking about on my Discord, I liked the way it looked before this revamp. It was dark, it was gritty, it was gray, it was rainy, it was the only thing that needed to get changed was the movement update. And even after they changed that, I still continue to play. I still continue to make content on it. and then just slowly but surely, they weren't listening to us properly, to the creators, and then they launched it, I think, too early in my opinion, and then of course we all see what happens.
They
It's
never
it's a dead game
recovered
now.
after that initial server
It's
issues
like
on the
the
initial launch.
third time. If they somehow try to re-release the game, I mean, it's literally a whole nother dev team. Like,
Mhm.
I just saw there was a airstrike with the laser pointer. Like,
And new
there's so
guns.
much stuff that
It
I've
looks
missed.
cool.
Yeah, new guns, new fixes, and all this stuff, and the skins don't look half bad. But it's like you have all these things that look cool. I know the game, probably when you get into a match, it probably feels good, but you can't really even get into a match, and no one's playing it. It's too late. It really is too late. People moved on.
I do
Um,
think they would benefit from a console release though,
I
because
think so
consoles
too,
console
but
players want this type of game. But again, you can't
yeah.
if you can't get the servers right on PC, how's it going to be on console? You know?
Exactly. Yeah. If the game ran well on PC, and that was the whole reason why I think I kept covering it, because I was like, maybe one day they'll get it right. And then because once it went to console, it'll be like a Reforger moment where it'll just blow up again, because it's like
Yeah,
all of
especially
a
if it's
sudden you
free to
have a game
play.
like this.
It'd be massive.
Exactly.
It'd be massive
Exactly.
on console. I really, if they could get it together and do that, man, it would be so huge. And
Even
they,
now, I think, look, even, and I'm trying to be like realistic with this, but
hmm
I feel like even if they did it good and the game ran and you were able to find quickly into games, they need a server browser. First of all, they don't even
right?
have a server. They used to
They
have
They
used
used
one.
to.
to,
They got
yeah.
rid of it.
Yep.
If they somehow brought that back and just continue with the game as is and it worked, like, even if Battlefield at its peak, if the next Battlefield game comes out and it's amazing, this game could still have a decent audience. I'm thinking like 10,000, max,
hmm
of just people that, probably can't, you know, or they don't want to spend. I don't know how much the next Battlefield game is going to be either, but if this is a free to play alternative, it could be good. I mean, Warface, for the love of God, survived for how many years with so many big hitters, Call of Duty, Battlefield back in the day, and it was still, people were still playing it, So like, it's possible. It's just they're not. I don't think they're gonna get their shit together, to be honest. And I don't know. Wishlist Games doesn't have a reputation for me to believe them. So
What's so funny is how persistent it is, though. Battlefield 5 had that crappy trailer
yeah,
and didn't launch, and everybody's like, this
hmm
is the chance for World War III. Then
yeah, yeah.
2042 came out years later and it underperformed, and everybody's like, this is the chance for World War
Chance for
III.
World War III.
And here we are. The next Battlefield has been launched, and we're still like,
Yeah,
oh, World
I
War
feel like
III.
it's
Like, it's
they
like,
know. I feel like at this point, third time, fool me once, shame on, was it you? Fool me twice, shame on me.
yeah.
And now it's like, all right, three times. Like, come on, you know what you're doing. You're trying to get the hype of Battlefield over to World War III. So,
Which they
like,
could, if they got it together like nowish, and they could have huge player numbers between like then and launch of Battlefield, and then like you said, still even retain some after the fact if it was a stable game and it was on consoles also,
mm-hmm.
they
Yeah,
could
because
make
they
up for
they
everything
have
if they got it
because
out.
now, at looking back at it, there's a lot more content combined than it
Yeah.
originally launched during the open beta. They have the FUBAR game mode, they have hardcore attack ops, hardcore TDM.
hmm
I don't know if they don't have a rush mode yet. They don't have a search and destroy mode, which still sucks, but I mean, they have a bunch of different maps, a bunch of different vehicles, bunch of different weapons, cosmetics that actually look decent. So it's like, it's not a bad game overall. Your back end support absolutely ruins the rest of the game.
Well,
So
anytime they tweet, it's always we're down for server maintenance. That's the only thing I
every
ever
single
saw.
tweet, yeah,
Yeah.
maintenance update. It's just like, all right, yeah, battle bit
let's,
update one, yeah.
there you go.
Quick shot. What's the next one? What's on the list?
I need to know about this 83 game re-release trailer. People have been telling me about it. I've
That's
been
another
seeing it
game
around.
too.
Is it basically just like Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, but it's like Cold War?
It's Cold War. Yeah, that's all it really is, and I don't mind it. The only issue, and they even mentioned it, in their what's the word, in their comment section in their re-announcement trailer. They posted because a lot of people immediately saw because of how popular Reforger got from then till now.
Mhm.
People were comparing it to Reforger. And they even said in a comment underneath, they were like, many of you mentioned similarities between of 83 with Armor Reforger. Let us explain why both games deliver a very different experience and a fast comparison. And this is completely 100% true because I love Rising Storm 2. I never played Rising Storm, and I kind of feel bad for not doing that. But Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, amazing game, so much fun. It's stupid fun because it's like it's not a mill sim. It's very realistic because you'll go down in 1 or 2 hits. There's gore in there, like if your buddy, it's like a PTSD simulator. Your buddy gets blown up by a mine sent by the Viet Cong, and it blows up them up, and then there's a body part flying one way and a boot flying the other. So it's like, and they had
Jeez.
helicopters as well too. So there was ways to do that, but specifically Armor Forger versus 83. So Armor Forger has open world. I'm gonna go down the list. Has open world, has sessions that last hours, sometimes days, and of course there's longer prep time before combat. There's travel, there's logistics, and we all seen that before on the public PvP servers. You have to get supplies for each base. You got to make your loadout from start, to from scratch. But then for 83, there's levels, basic game levels that I think most people should know. It's just I want to go play on one of the levels is Duga Radar, which is kind of cool as a Stalker fan just to see like Duga again. But there are going to be tanks now as well too. There weren't tanks that I can remember. I don't think there was any like ground-based vehicles in Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. Um, so you have that, and then you also have, instead of games that last hours or days, it's just quick 30-40 minute sessions. I mean, I say quick, but it's still pretty quick in terms of like a realistic game. And then fast time to action. And it was because if you can spawn on your squad leader, who at least in Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, as an American, you spawn on your squad leader, and as the Viet Cong, you'd spawn on a tunnel that your squad leader had to build. So, you were in the action right away. It was chaos everywhere, people screaming, um, go home GI and stuff like that. It was just good time. So now we get to see this in the Cold War scenario.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember Battlefield Vietnam had like that kind of stuff over the radio when you're in like some of the cities. It was like the propaganda radio going like
What
go
would the
home
AI radio do
GI
from
and stuff.
Arma?
That's what they, yeah, just bring out that, yeah. I don't know how that would work out. I don't know how that would work out. Oh man.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I never played really Rising Storm. I got it free on Epic Games Store and it's just sitting there, but I've never played it.
Yeah, they had some really cool like DLCs. They had like the Army Men DLC, which was really cool. Green versus tan army soldiers. Um, so it'd be like, instead of like body parts flying off, it was just like little plastic pieces flying off. Um,
Jeez.
yeah, it was funny. It was good. They had and they had licensed music from that era. So you'd load up the menu and you start hearing, actual like 1960s era rock music and stuff like that. Or, also the cosmetics were super cool looking. They had a lot of cool like Vietnam era, and it wasn't like anything crazy. There were no Teletubbies. There was no crazy, skin camouflages. It was just like, all right, you have the American Vietnamese army, with their M1 helmets and their different tiger stripe patterns, or you had what was it like? The only crazy things that one of them was be like the it was the John Lennon glasses that were different colors, so you had like pink, green, orange, stuff like that. But that'd be like the craziest thing you'd see. The red bandana to make you look like a GI Joe type character. So I could see that being really cool in a 1983 or a 1980s just generalized
Hmm.
fashion. You'll see some really cool camos, really cool guns. We saw the FAL in there as well too. I'm sure you
Nice.
see the M16A2 or A2 and 80. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, you too.
yeah, and stuff like that. So, and then M16 carbines and stuff like that. So, it just be cool to see all that inside this this gameplay. I just hope that they kind of expanded upon what Rising Storm 2 had. They had not too much destruction. It's not going to be Battlefield level, but it'd be nice to at least see like a wall or two blow up. Um, just to kind of change the dynamic of a map. If not, I don't think it's going to kill the game, but yeah, we'll see. Cause I don't know. Like I was watching some of the gameplay from it, and some of the pre-rendered stuff looked good, but some of like the first person, I don't know what it was. It just looked a bit older. I think it's just the engine that they're using. It's just like an updated version of their older one, so it's not going to be like it's not. Look, I will say, completely optimized. I'm probably going to say this from the start. This game is going to be really well ran, and I think a lot of PCs are going to be able to run it. So I think that's a good starting point. So yeah,
Nice.
That's all I got to say about that.
Sweet. I think that's a show. What do you guys think?
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Anything
I'm
else?
sure. I'm curious what's gonna happen between now and next show.
Yeah.
Hopefully
We will
more
be
Battlefield
watching
stuff. We'll keep you
Oh
guys
god.
updated.
And shout out Tacti made a War 3 video. Oh no.
Did he really?
You want to hear the title of it?
Yeah.
Now is the best time to try the, in quotations, Battlefield killer.
Yeah, I saw he had
Tacti.
he had a poster there.
Shout out Tacti. Cool dude. And the main title is Still Alive. And you know what's funny, real quick, because I used to say that too about World War 3 back in the day. It was just like when the game was actually like in its low, like 2-player count number, I used to be like, this game's still being developed. And it's like, yeah, true. While they're still working on the game, like
It's a game.
come on. It's one of the games of all games.
One of the games of all time. Oh,
Yeah,
one thing I did want to say.
goes.
Occasionally, gaming news from other things catch my eye. Just before we go, I'm sorry, I know it's late. No Man's Sky got a super crazy update. That game has been crazy.
I saw that, dude. I think one of them was like ships in a firestorm or something like that, and it looked incredible, dude.
Yeah, and it's all like, procedurally generated planets.
Wow.
So there's literally like millions of planets now, and they added like different biomes, like underwater, and like so like every planet you visit is different. And that game was, people thought it was such a scam in the beginning, and like to see where it is now is kind of a really cool story. So I've been actually watching No Man's Sky content, and it's just because the game
be a No Man's Sky space trucker next. Is that what's am I hearing? Shit Pants
Nope.
LLC in space?
Nope. Definitely not. But I just thought it was really interesting what that game's done and like what it is. It's kind of cool. I've been following along with it a little bit, but
well, it's interesting because every time someone says a game can come back from the depth, they go look at No Man's Sky. But it's like No Man's Sky was very specific case,
right?
So
yeah,
we'll see.
They did see it through though.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Cool. I think that's a show. If you want to help us out, like this stream, share it around, as well as share the audio version. Leave us a 5-star review if you can. There's tons of free ways to do it. The best one is spreading it by word of mouth. Be a friend, tell a friend, bring someone back with you next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really look forward to these days. I look forward to these days with you guys. I put those two words together, unfortunately. And we'll see you guys later. I'm probably canceled. This could be the last show. I love you guys. Bye.